All right, we're back. I'm Adam.
And I'm actually wearing a Justice League shirt.
He is. I guess we're here to review Justice League.
Which, I gotta tell, like, I know in one of the previous reviews, we told the story about, like, the people who were like, oh, I can't wait to see it, and we were giving them crap. And I will say, for the record, that this movie surprised me. Because we, as that story foretold, we anticipated going to this movie and just crapping all over it and just it was going to be terrible. And in all brutal honesty, it wasn't that bad.
No, but I was genuinely surprised on just how
much of the movie
much of the film worked. And the thing is we saw reviews and shit that were just like, essentially everyone, the one thing everyone agreed on was that Flash was great. And I liked Flash in the movie. I thought he was really good. But to me, he didn't hold a candle to just how well Aquaman was handled in this film.
Yeah, and see, I have seen so many people crapping on Jason Momoa, not even just for this performance, just in general. Yeah. People apparently don't like him for some reason, and I don't understand it. Because, admittedly, this isn't like the normal portrayal of Aquaman, but for what they were going for, he did great. This portrayal was actually one of the few times that I've actually looked at Aquaman like, I'm kind of interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
Like, drunken, grumpy Aquaman is an angle that I think needs to be explored.
And he handled it very well. I don't know much about. I'm not that familiar with Jason Momoa. I'm with you where it's like I hear people hate him and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
And so this is really the first thing I really seen him in, and I thought he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good in it. Just really quickly, Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman, I've heard people be like, "Oh, he phoned it in" and shit like that. And I don't think he phoned it in. It was a decent performance. I mean, granted,
it wasn't I didn't like it as much as his performance in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but to me, it was more like
he was sharing it with more people.
Yeah,
this time,
but I'm like, I don't think that's his fault. It's just what he has to work with.
Yeah.
He's even though he is a main character of this movie, he's essentially not just sharing the screen now with one other guy. Now he's sharing it with fucking 4 or 5 other people essentially. Gal Gadot, however you pronounce her name, was still fantastic as Wonder Woman. So there's really not much for me to add to her. The one thing I will say is that Henry Cavill,
it's one of them.
Was I've never been a fan of him as Superman, and this film made me a fan of him as Superman because this is the first film where. Now, granted, Superman isn't nearly in it as much as everybody else.
Right.
He shows up pretty much at the beginning of the 3rd act and shit like that, which was good because he shouldn't be.
You're building up to Superman.
You're also trying to establish everybody else, and this is the first Superman film in a long time where I got to see Superman essentially be Superman.
Yeah.
I talked to people who were like, oh, his lines were cheesy and this stuff, and I'm like, but that's Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these people who claim that they read Superman comics. I'm like, if you read Superman comics, that's Superman.
Yeah. That's sort of the thing. Is like the other movies wanted Superman to be gritty and this, this angsty, I have all these, emotions and whatnot. And it's like, I'm not saying Superman doesn't have emotions. I'm not saying he can't go through stuff.
Yeah.
But Superman, at his heart, is all about pushing through and doing the right thing no matter what. Yeah. And that's not what those movies are portraying. That is what this movie portrayed. Mm-hmm. He went through some serious stuff, and we do see him going through it briefly, but then he just sort of comes out of it like, I got to do what I got to do. That's my job. Yeah. And that is Superman.
Not only that, it was just refreshing just to see him punch a villain.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Because for a while, really
that's the other thing that makes him Superman is I do agree with the Kevin Smith thing of give Superman someone to hit.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I still kind of want him to be Superman. Not everything he faces has to be capable of killing him. Sometimes the fun is just, I'm Superman. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I thought Steppenwolf as a villain was an actual pretty decent villain. Unfortunately, he's not the most popular or most well-known DC villain that they could potentially put him up with. But I think for what they're setting up and for the first Justice League film, he was completely fine as the first villain. He was powerful enough to create a threat to the point where everyone needed to gang up, but he wasn't overpowered to the point where when you get to that climax, you don't think that the heroes have a chance. He's a completely CGI character, and a lot of people complain he looks terrible. But to me, it's he didn't look any worse or better than fucking Thanos did in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, who's also completely CGI'd. To me, he didn't look any worse or better than that. And a lot of people gave the effects crap. yes, the digitally removed mustache on Superman near the end of the film and in some scenes was very noticeable, but it's not like take me out of the movie noticeable though.
The rest of the CG, I don't know what DC's problem is with this, but in every movie they have that I've seen so far, the CG has just been, I don't want to say god awful, but it's not good.
Like, to me, the special effects were not the best. They're not great, but I didn't think they were bad. Like they were good enough to the point where it's like, did I notice what was CGI? Yeah, of course I noticed what was CGI. Like it's not like anything that wasn't CGI fooled me in the movie.
Right.
But when you have a movie where essentially you have one character, which is Cyborg, who is essentially completely computer animated, except for like three quarters of his face, it's like at times he looked fine, and at times he looked like shit and stuff like that. And I agree with that. But the problem is that when you have a movie that is essentially in this world, and we see a lot of CGI landscapes and we see a lot of CGI characters and shit like that, to me it just didn't look out of place though. Like even though I don't think the CGI was good, it didn't take me out of the movie though. Like it doesn't take me out of the movie because I'm like, oh my god, this looks so bad. It just fits with everything else in the movie. So like for me, it's like, yeah, the CGI has Marvel done better CGI? Yes, they have. They've done way better CGI, but the movie, it didn't, but the CGI, as I'm saying, just didn't take me out of the film. Like, I understand, like, it fits within the context of what this world is, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people really, it's weird, because, like, he says, like, most people love The Flash. Well, most of the people I follow actually didn't like The Flash very much.
Really?
And I'm, like, I didn't hate The Flash in the movie, but he wasn't my favorite at all. Like, I didn't care for him as much. So I'm kind of with them. But the same group of people, to be fair, also have just been really tanking on the movie and just, going with the flow of, like, just like Batman v Superman, it was just garbage. It's like, no, it really wasn't that bad. It was much better than I was expecting. So, a grain of salt to all these opinions, obviously. And your opinion is your own, but I do think a lot of people have been being too hard on it.
I think so too. I was going to say, when it comes to a superhero film, one of the most important aspects of the film is the action sequences.
Yeah.
And I will say that I really liked all the action sequences in the movie. Now, that's not to say they're all extremely well done or anything.
No.
But they were all at least enjoyable to watch.
And it's another thing where, like, the little moments made it. Because, like, especially, like, the final climactic battle with Steppenwolf, like, there's a part where, like, Superman finally comes in, and it's like, and that's when you get your Superman moment. Like, he comes in, and it's very clear that Steppenwolf just has no chance now.
And I like that a lot.
Right. But at the same time, he goes off to do other things because he's Superman, and there are civilians to be saved. And unlike the other movies, he actually cares this time.
Yeah.
And so he runs off to save the civilians, and now it's the other ones. And it was established earlier that, like, Aquaman and Wonder Woman and even Cyborg are capable of, like, fighting Steppenwolf, but he's just stronger than them, and so they can hold him off. They can't quite beat him, but there's nice moments where they start using teamwork, because Wonder Woman will be wailing on him, and then just as he's about to get the upper hand, Aquaman tackles him from off the side. It's like, yes, this is the Justice League.
Yeah, and like that was
so it was much better than I expected. Now again, just so we don't oversell it, we were going in expecting garbage, and we got something decent.
Yeah.
We got something passable, essentially, which compared to, like, Batman v Superman and Man of Steel is much more than we were expecting. So I was pleasantly surprised by the product. Again, I reiterate what I said at the beginning. As much as we have had positives, that's because I believe we are fans and we wanted these characters to be compelling. We wanted, the Justice League to have a proper, feel like movie that made us feel like it's the Justice League. Like this is something compelling and that we want to see. And so I, and I do kind of remember the positives more than the negatives, which is a good thing. And so, but at the same time, it still wasn't great. It wasn't up to the heights of, like, the best of the Marvel movies. And even, like, so far, I would still say Wonder Woman by far, I think, was the best of the DC movies so far. That movie had problems too, but it didn't have as many problems as this or the other ones. So it wasn't, it wasn't quite up to that par. It wasn't quite up to the Marvel par. But once again, it showed that they are aware of some of their problems and they are working to correct them. And I am a fan of that, and I want to give them points. So it was probably an average movie, just going from filmmaking perspectives altogether. I'm going to push it slightly above average and give it a 6 out of 10.
All right.
Because there are parts that I remember better than the negative ones, and there were a few moments that were genuinely really good that I hope they continue with. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
All right. I myself, again, I walked into this expecting a train wreck, and I didn't get a train wreck. Are there flaws in the film? Yes, there are flaws. Could have been written better? Yeah, it could have been written better. Is the CGI great? No, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as people make it out to be. Flash was really good in it. I enjoyed Flash. I enjoyed Aquaman. I enjoyed, for the most part, Bruce Wayne and Batman. I enjoyed, of course, Wonder Woman. And it was just so nice and refreshing to finally get to see Superman essentially be Superman.
Yeah.
And I liked the action sequences in the movie. I liked the music, which is something we didn't get into. I did like the music because I really liked it because we got to hear the Danny Elfman Batman theme.
That's true, yeah.
Essentially, like almost like a remix of it, but it was there and it was fucking awesome to hear it.
Yeah.
Again, it has problems. Not everything is handled well, but there's still a lot of great bright spots in the film. There's a lot of stuff to enjoy in it. And overall, I had a fun time watching the movie. And I walked out of the theater not regretting have seen it like I did with Batman v Superman. I thought it was money well spent. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a point higher than you. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I think it is worth going to the theater to go see. Again, like it's not for everybody. I could see what people are complaining about it. I could see certain things taking you out of the movie, certain moments and shit like that. But if you're like me, you go in and you don't let that shit bother you, you could find a pretty good film here. That's our review. Again, to recap, he gave it a 6. I give it a 7. Essentially, we both have the same feelings on it.
More or less, yeah.
So that's going to do it for this one. Please thumbs up the video if you liked it. Please subscribe to our channel so you can see more reviews as they are uploaded. And please leave a comment and let us know what you thought of Justice League. And I have a feeling if anyone leaves a comment, I'll get ripped for giving it a 7. You might come out unscathed. But either way, let us know what you think. And that's going to do it for us for right now. And we are going to be back with 3 billboards outside.
I think it was Essing, Missouri? Or...
3 billboards.
Yeah, 3 billboards. That's what